Let's see. Germany suspects sabotage hit Russia's Nordstream pipeline.
Germany suspects sabotage.
Wait, hold on. All like 1 minute notes.
Mit diesem Dienstag endet eine Folge.
Okay, that's in German. We can't watch that. Nordstream pipeline leaks raise suspicion. Okay, here.
Sabotage is
there we go. DW.
3 leaks in the Nord Stream natural gas pipelines connecting Russia to Europe. Gas bubbles have formed in the Baltic Sea off Denmark and Sweden. The Danish military has released these images of the gas bubbles. The leaks were first spotted on the radar of a passing ship. Denmark has since banned shipping from the area and imposed a no-fly zone. The Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines run from Russia to Germany. Neither is in operation, although both did contain pressurized gas. The Kremlin says it's extremely concerned about the leak. Now, Poland's Prime Minister has called it an act of sabotage without providing any evidence. And Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen says sabotage is indeed a possibility.
We cannot rule it out. It is too early to draw conclusions yet. But this is an extraordinary situation, an unusual situation. And there are 3 leaks. Even with...
I don't know why people are feigning ignorance. Just say, like, even if you hate, like, there are plenty of people who hate Russia. Okay. Understandable. They're doing some fucking really horrifying things in Ukraine. I don't know why it's so hard for people to admit that, like, America most likely did this. Like, you can, like, this doesn't mean that Russia is all of a sudden in the right for invading Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like there's only one party that has the most to gain and has actively said, we will do whatever the fuck we can to stop Nord Stream 2 from moving forward, which they successfully did. And it seems like, you know, they were not happy with, like, Russia having any sort of dominance over Europe. They openly said, we'll take any means necessary to stop that from happening. So I don't know why people are like, oh man, there's no way this could be America, even though they are the ones who gain the most out of this. It's Europe gets cucked because they're you know, a piece of their energy dependence, like a pipeline that is a part of their energy dependence on Russia is cucked, making energy prices higher. Russia gets cucked because, like, it's one way, maybe not the most effective, but one of the ways of delivering energy directly to Europe. You know what I mean? Like out of all those players, like, it makes no sense for any of those other guys to do it. U.S. with the help of Moldovan Navy SEALs and cows. You just said Moldovan Navy SEALs twice, Moldovan Mama Liga.
With some distance between them, and that is why it's hard to imagine that what's happening is a coincidence.
Now, our political correspondent Thomas Barrett joins me now. Thomas, what are you hearing from the German government officially and maybe unofficially about these leaks?
The same line of caution that we heard from other European officials, that it's essentially too early to conclude what exactly is behind those leaks. But what we are hearing as well, not only here in Germany, but also from other European countries, is that the extent of the damage seems too large for it to be accidental or coincidental. And that's why you're hearing from officials saying that there's a possibility that this could have been an act of sabotage. But again, it is still too early to really conclude what was behind those leaks. There are crisis teams meeting in different parts of Europe to try and understand what exactly happened and also what could be the impact, the political but also the economic impact of these leaks on the Nord Stream pipelines, the Nord Stream 1 and the Nord Stream 2 pipelines.
Now, how difficult would it be to attack these pipelines? I understand they're encased in concrete.
Well, you would essentially need to know first, Gerhard, if it was indeed an attack. Again, we're only speculating here, but there have been already analysis pointing to the fact that the extent of the damage would point, if it is an attack, to a state actor. But again, this is only speculation, and those crisis teams are trying to identify not only the extent of the damage. Some of the latest reports also point to possible explosions along the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines, but also, again, what could be the impact of these damages, in particular
America's literally applying Russia is hitting itself defense. And it seems like American media will go along with it, and it seems like people will actually agree to that narrative.
For Europe's infrastructure when it comes to...
By the way, none of this still absolves Russia's actions, for the record.
Gas.
But it just like doesn't make any sense to me. But, you know, I was wrong about saying that Vladimir Putin was not going to invade Ukraine, because that would be fucking bananas and insane.
In particular for Europe's infrastructure when it comes to gas. That is also a particularly important topic in Europe nowadays.
Now, does this leak, do these leaks have any measurable effect of the current energy supplies to Europe?
We've heard already from German officials, from the German economy minister, that energy supply is guaranteed, and that has to do with the fact that both pipelines were not in operation. Nord Stream 2 pipeline was never in operation, actually, and gas was flowing less and less from Nord Stream 1. So from that perspective, in the German case, Germany has, in fact, increased its gas reserves around 91%. So from that perspective, energy supply seems to be guaranteed. But there are obviously questions as to what all this means for Europe's vulnerability when it comes to these gas supplies in general, what it also means economically, what it means for the markets. So there are certainly, Gerhard, a lot of questions here as to what the potential impact of this might be, even though, as we're hearing from German officials, that energy supply is for now guaranteed, and that the impact on this is certainly not as big as many would have feared maybe a few weeks or a few months ago.
Our political correspondent, Thomas Sparrow, there. Thank you, Thomas. Now let's bring in Michael Bloss. He's a member of the European Parliament for the German Green Party and part of the Committee on Industry, Research and Energy. Now, the Danish military has released videos showing the ocean bubbling. What more do you know about the exact situation right now?
I don't know much more. I think investigations are in place from the Danish side, from the Swedish side. And we have to see what they will find. I'm sure they will also go down with some robots and check the leaks. But yeah, as you just heard, sabotage is something that cannot be ruled out. I think it is but important to say that this will not have an impact on the German gas situation, because we do not get gas from Nord Stream 1 and 2 from Russia. These were closed down by Russia. So the effects on the German gas market is close to zero.
So who would benefit from such an attack? I mean, it doesn't look like any amateur could attack a concrete encased pipeline at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. There must be some state actors behind.
Who could be?
Absolutely. It seems like that this is something that has been done in a very professional way, but it's too early to say who could be the one who did it. No, I mean, I believe Russia could be behind in an attempt to create more chaos, more turmoil on the European energy market. What is, of course, now underway is also security checks on existing other gas pipelines. This is critical infrastructure, and the security alert for them there, it has to be heightened up now. So we don't know who is behind it. It creates a little
probably
bit of
Russia.
Insecurity in Germany. We need to take care of our in all of Europe.
He's like, we don't know who's behind it, but it's probably Russia.
Critical infrastructure, our energy infrastructure, but who was it is something that the Danish and the Swedish police need to find out.
Yeah, impossible to say right now, as you rightly say there. But what worries you most about these leaks?
No, what worries me is really that, you know, the acts of war, and I suspect it is connected through the Russian aggression against Ukraine, is coming closer and closer. Energy infrastructure is key for us to come over the winter. It's critical infrastructure. We really need to take care of it. We really need to.
When they say we're not getting any gas, we've switched 90% of our reliance away from Nord Stream, that doesn't mean that in the future, in a critical moment, when Germany's like, our reserves are drying out, we desperately need energy from Russia, doesn't mean that they wouldn't open up the fucking faucets. So just understand that. Like, they are ready for it, or they're trying to gear up for a strong winter. But that doesn't mean that, like, during the height of winter demand, that they were going to cave. Now, of course, Russia understands that. Every person that is involved in this understands that. The people that are currently selling them, yes, Bidet Marx is correct on this. The people that are currently increasing their liquefied natural gas that they're selling, who most clearly benefits from such a disaster, since the same time last year, U.S. has more than doubled the volume of gas it is sending to Europe. Yeah. And also, Germany is working on creating facilities that Germany's currently working on facilities that it can use to get the liquid gas that America is sending, which is a different process than like directly getting it from the Nordstream pipeline, which will take years, by the way. They're working on it, but you know, it's going to take a fucking long ass time. But once those investments are placed, and once they're actually building the infrastructure for that, like, they're not going to go back to the fucking Nord Stream pipeline. Well, now they can't go back because the pipeline is doo-doo. All I know is this upcoming winter for Europe, it's going to be a very cold one. A very, very cold one. Dark Brandon rises.
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it. Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it. Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades.
Goddamn, Joe Brandon is so fucking sexy. Yeah. Okay, I'm a Russian and I can say that these pipes blew up by themselves. Yeah, no, probably not. I mean, probably, sorry. Take a look.
To increase the security level. But also what worries me as a climate politician is that this is lots of methane gas getting out of this two pipelines, and methane gas is 30 times more dangerous for the climate than CO2. So also this leakage is something that is bad for the climate and bad for the environment, for the biosphere, for the animals that live around the leaks.
Michael Bloss, there, member of the European Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the pipeline probably killed itself by shooting itself in the back of the head.
Now, Europe's border agency Frontex says nearly 66,000 Russians have flooded into the EU over the last week.
Yeah. It's a typical thing that pipelines do. They just shoot themselves in the back of the head 3 times. And